Week 16 of the NFL season, where divisional matchups are present and everywhere with the final weeks of the season, with big implication. The Washington Commanders look to move one step closer to not only the playoffs, but still possibly winning the NFC East as they welcome the Philadelphia Eagles in the Northwest Stadium as they face off for the second time this season. We got the preview for you right here on the Postgame podcast. Make sure you stick on and sack that subscribe button. Tackle that thumbs up, click that bell, vote on the poll, sign off below, let us know your thoughts on the Commanders and Eagles. And we're going to start college football playoffs as the Ohio State and Tennessee are in a battle. Flex On Podcast, Washington Commanders preview show, right here on the Flex On. What's going on, Commanders fans, Flex Zone family, God's favorite host, and the right-hand man, the Commanderlorain, the voice of reason, the captain of the goofy ship, Crevonte, Day, joining me for a very special Saturday night edition of the Washington Commanders preview, as we do live here on the Flex Zone weekly before leading into the Washington Commanders game of the week, as we are in week 16, Crevonte 9-5, facing a familiar foe, a rivalry that knows no bounds, an NFC East classic matchup. It's Eagles week. Need I say more? And it's at home this time. How you feeling, Crevonte?
Man, I'm feeling good, man.
Commanders. Those haters can't stand us. Left hand.
Jam. Oh, jam. Stupid. Just stupid. Well, now that's goofy.
Eagles week, Crevonte.
Indeed. Eagles week, Philly week is pretty big. It's right is one notch under Dallas week, you know. NFC East rival, so there's always a big game. I always say the division games are worth 1.5. And yeah, it's going to be that. The Eagles are killing it right now, so we're catching them at a crazy time. We're probably a little bit healthier than we were the last time, but they are heavy hitters in the NFC.
As mentioned, this is the second matchup between the two teams. As we look up the history here between the two teams, this game will be on Fox tomorrow. It is a 1 p.m. game. It was not flex. We'll get to that because the Commanders were affected by a game coming up next week that will be flex. So we'll have a primetime game in D.C. in Landover at Northwest Stadium, as we will have the Commanders and the Falcons. But let's get to the game information, Crevonte. I like to give the history. I like to give the background. Washington Commanders will try to improve to 10-5 in a home matchup against the Eagles. And we got Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, Pam Oliver, your girl Crevonte, on the sidelines tomorrow in Landover as well. As mentioned, at home, Washington is 45, 41, and 3, Crevonte. I know you've been keeping tabs, so I just want to make sure my math is right. And last season, Philly beat Washington 38-31, week 8 in D.C. The Commanders are looking to break a 3-game losing streak at home to the Eagles. This is the latest the Eagles will travel to Washington since 2021, which was week 17. Washington is 2-2 against the NFC East this season. With the win over the Eagles, the team would move to 3-2, their best NFC East record since 2020. And with they win, Washington will move to 10-5, their best record through 15 games, Crevonte, since What year, Crevonte?
91, 1991.
You are correct. Jaden Daniels over 3,000 passing yards, 17 passing touchdowns. Brian Robinson approaching 1,000 yards rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns. Scary Terry's 30 yards away from 1,000 yards, 11 receiving touchdowns. Bobby Wagner, 109 tackles. Dante Fowler, 8.5 sacks. And our boy Mike Samerstill, 2 interceptions as well for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts leads them with 2,800 yards. Saquon Barkley approaching, trying to break Eric Dickerson's record. Crevonte, 1,688 yards. Jalen Hurts has 14 rushing touchdowns. A.J. Brown right on the cusp of 1,000 yards. And Zach Vaughn with 134 tackles. Josh Sweat with 8 tackles. No Brandon Graham. He's out for the year as well, Crevonte. So hearing those historic facts, how do you feel about the Eagles and Commanders matchup? It sounds like you guys are due. Not to spoil my pick, but it sounds like you guys are due for a win at home against the Eagles.
We are. We absolutely are. And it seems like as the season went on, we actually had the team that can do it. But at the beginning of the year, I would not have been this confident about it. But Saquon Barkley is wild over there. Their running game is crazy. And of course, they got A.J. Brown on the outside. So we have our work cut out for us. And they are hitting their stride in December, which is scary because that's when you want to hit your stride going into the playoffs, because it's not always about who's the best team. It's usually about who's the hottest, you know. And it looked like Eagles are one of the hottest teams right now. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. But I think it's still going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, you mentioned Saquon Barkley, Crevonte. Do you think he can break that record? He has 1,688. He's just been on another level this year. I mean, the Giants let him go. You even see with Derrick Henry, you see it even with Josh Jacobs. I mean, these running backs, you still got to value one. And even looking at your running back, Brian Robinson, when he gets the ball and he gets his opportunities over 15, 20 times, you guys have a good chance to win also. I think the running back is going to be key in this game.
Absolutely. Running back, well, you know, like I said, key to the game is always are the trenches. It's always the trenches. And the Eagles, part of the reason why the Eagles are so good is because they have a top 3 offensive line in the NFL. So you combine that with Saquon Barkley, we have a recipe, a rushing recipe for success. With the extra game, he has the opportunity to surpass Eric Dickerson's record. But would it mean as much because with the extra game? Because like a lot of records are going to be broken because players are getting more time to break these records. But I mean, if you're in the record books, you're in the record books. But Saquon Barkley could very well get that record. What would he need? Like 150 yards or 200 yards a game, something like that.
So the record, Crevonte, is 2,105 yards. He's currently at 1,688.
Oh,
so he's like
no,
500,
not even.
like 500.
So was that 150?
Yeah, so let me see. I got the numbers here actually. Having just 65 yards, because remember, the Steelers shut him down last week, Crevonte. He had only 65 yards. Barkley's rushing yards per game fell from 124.8 to 120.6, which put him slightly off the pace to break that record, according to analytics and projections, by the way.
Well, listen, I don't need him running for no 150, 170, 160 yards on us. That would be a recipe for us to lose. So I hope we can keep him off the pace as well. But yeah, they pose a huge match, a huge barrier for us.
Crevonte, let's get to the injury report, my brother. I got it pulled up here, and let's talk about it. We always got to talk about the injuries. How are you feeling going into this game? Jonathan Allen potentially working his way back, not going to play this week. He is ruled out. I thought he was done for the year, Crevonte. What is going on there? We see Jeremy Chin questionable. He did practice fully Friday. Zach Ertz questionable, so they may be playing with some others who are full: Sam Cosmi, Dante Fowler, Zane Gonzalez, McCaffrey, Deron Payne. What do you think about the injuries, my guy? Getting healthier as the weeks go by.
The Jonathan Allen thing kind of came out of nowhere because all of a sudden, because they said the year, they said the season ending and all that, but then all of a sudden he pops up on the 21-day, now he's in that practice window, so he can possibly be off IR soon. So that'll be good. He'll probably, if he can come back healthy completely, he would come back for the playoffs, which would be cool. Jeremy Chin and Zach Ertz sustained concussions last week, so that's concerning. I'm not expecting them to play because just how concussions have been going on. If you get a concussion one week, you typically don't play the next week. Did you see Austin Eckler on the injury report?
I do not see him at all. He's not listed at all. So I
Okay.
know it's 4 weeks, right? That was how many weeks ago?
Yeah, at least three.
So it's probably just maybe the last week, probably.
Okay.
Because he got hurt against was it against the Cowboys?
Um.
I believe.
Yeah, I think
So if it
they
was the Cowboys, he missed Tennessee, he missed New Orleans, and then this will be game 3. So he would still have one more game to miss, which would be week 17. So he maybe could return for the finale, week 18. Is that what it's looking like?
Oh boy. Quite possibly, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're. I know for sure you don't play the next week. And he's looks like he's outside of that window, but I don't know what their protocol is internally, and also how severe it was, because it was pretty bad. But all concussions are bad, but um, but him not being on the injury report is, I'll take it as a good thing. But Zach Ertz and Jeremy Chin are starters, so that's concerning. Pretty much everybody else is pretty much good to go, but I don't know how severe the concussions were for Chin and Ertz.
Well, Crevonte on the Eagles side looks like they have pretty much most of their starters back. Obviously, no Brandon Graham. Dallas Goedert on IR. How do you feel about them looking at their injury report as they're pretty much healthy and they have all of their arsenal as well? But you also got Marshawn Lattimore as well. What did you think about him in his debut last week, real quick?
Brandon Graham being out hurts a little bit because we already know what we're going up against from the interior of their defensive line. And Brandon Graham was on the outside. So I still think they have a healthy rotation. I don't think that hurts them too much, like to the point where it's an advantage for us. I don't think that's the case. I think they still have a pretty good healthy rotation in their defensive line. So still very concerning. See Dallas Goedert's out. Yeah, for the most part, they're pretty healthy. Marshawn Lattimore, I think he had about 35 snaps last game, and he didn't give up anything. Nothing at all. It was no targets, no catches, no yards, nothing. So that's about right. But the Saints did they were shuffling quarterbacks a little bit. They didn't have their top-notch wide receiver, so that's about what I expected. But that's just to get right, just get back to get acclimated to the way football is played. Post his injury. So he got a draw this week at AJ Brown this week. So another repeat performance would be great.
Crevonte, what do you think about the 3.5 point spread over under 45.5? And looks like the weather will be a cold day tomorrow in DC. I think it's in the area. It's going to be windy and cold. I don't know the exact weather. Looks like it's going to be in the 30s. Probably feel like the 20s.
Mm-hmm. 3.5. 3.5 sounds about right because they're the better team even on the road. Yeah, so 3.5 is about right. Um they still giving us some respect in the numbers because of what Jaden Daniels has brought to this team and his organization. So it's not like, oh, it's usually this would be a 6.5. You know what I'm saying? Usually they be favored by 6.5 on the road, but the Commanders are very much a formidable team, but the Eagles are still a, a notch, a couple notches better than the Commanders, at least looking at it from a talent base, talent base. And if we're grading each individual units on that team, most of them goes to the Eagles. Most of the nods goes to the Eagles.
Well, Crevonte, we know you like to dress like the pros. You like to wear your game day threads like your favorite Washington Commanders player. You'll be doing tomorrow the burgundy tops with the gold pants. How do you feel about that uniform choice for the burgundy and gold tomorrow and your Washington Commanders?
I'm cool with it. Like I said, I love the rebrand of this for this team. So that's cool with me. Um they look, like I said, they look clean, they look good. I just hope they play good at this point, but they do look pretty good out there. So I'm cool. I'm cool with it, man. So that means what? The Eagles are wearing white.
I'll look that up for you, Crevonte. I am not sure what they're wearing. Let's see if we can find that out for you. But if you want to go into your keys, I'll find that information out for you, and you can go and do your thing, brother.
Okay. So you know how I do pretty much every week we do this. I talk about the units, um, the units, the different units of the team. So I break it down to three different parts: off offense and defense. Um, for the so we start on the offense side of the ball. For the Commanders, whew, we have to get healthy. Getting healthy on the offensive side of the ball is key because I don't know if you noticed, Byron, but Tyler Badass did not play against the Saints, and we struggled. We struggled, and it was noticeable how we struggled. So he's back. The interior line is back. All pretty much everybody on the offensive line is healthy. Um, I didn't see any show up on the injury report, so that's going to be good moving forward because we're going to need to be balanced against the Philadelphia Eagles. They present a big front, a physical front, so we have to be balanced. We have to run the ball, be able to run the ball effectively, and be able to get some play action pass on the outside. So offensive line being healthy, that's a great key. That's a good key. And also remaining healthy throughout the game because we need that consistency. Next, Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson and maybe McNichols and Eckler. I'm not sure. But everybody needs to be fresh. Everybody be fresh, be in a rotation. But I love Brian Robinson starting because again, I'm gonna keep beating this drum. We look more physical on offense when Brian Robinson is running the football. It is what it is. No knock against anybody else. Also, Eckler is like a good change of pace back, good in the passing game. But when Brian Robinson is running the ball, we look more physical. And that's good. Next, we go to the outside. Terry McLaurin is proven that he's a top-notch receiver in this league. Absolutely. We don't really have a number 2 guy. We got KJ Osborne. This is his first game. We'll see how it goes. But Terry McLaurin is the guy. Finding a way to keep him, put him in the game plan early. Get him involved early and often. And plus, that's Jaden Daniels' favorite target. And last but not least, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels looks like he's getting in the swing of things. I did not like him getting sacked 8 times last game. So We have to clean it up. That's a mixture of offensive line and him because he's a mobile guy. Keep yourself safe. Slide. If it's not there, don't force nothing because this game can get out of hand. If we, a couple mistakes here and there, this game could get out of hand, and we don't want that. We have to be mistake free, and be in the game all the way to the end. Who knows what can happen? But all year he's been doing a really good job at protecting the football, and keeping the offense rolling. Hopefully Zach Ertz plays, but he's probably not with the whole concussion thing. But I know his two favorite targets are Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin. Flipping on the defensive side, Dante Fowler's been kind of quiet. Doris Armstrong popped his head out a couple of times. We just need consistency from Payne and the rest of the defensive line. And they have to stay in their gaps. My gosh, they have to keep their gap integrity, because Saquon Barkley will jump out the window on us and break one, and then he can really gash us. So defensive line got to remain honest and keep their gap integrity. Linebackers, same thing. Gap integrity. Can't get washed out. Cannot get washed out. Can't over pursue, because Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. And of course, in the secondary, Marshawn Lattimore. Take AJ Brown out. That's it. And that's all. Take AJ Brown out. We'll figure out everything else. Take out AJ Brown. Mike Sanders still. Put him on Devonta Smith, and we'll probably be good from there. So overall keys, win a turnover battle. Absolutely win a turnover battle. Winning the turnover battle, and also offensively remaining in front of the sticks. Got to remain in front of the sticks. No second and longs, no third and longs. Keep it second and third and manageable, third and short, fourth and short if we have to. That's pretty much how we'll keep our offense going. Defensively, I don't know. Probably need a little bit of prayer. Hopefully Marshawn Lattimore is up for the challenge of taking AJ Brown all game. Hopefully he could be effective. Keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket. Keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket when he does pass, and finding a way to contain Saquon Barkley. Those are pretty much the keys on the defensive side of the ball. And the Ohio State Buckeyes scored again. Yes. Byron. There you go. But anyway, finishing up the keys. Keep the turnovers low. Keep the turnovers absolutely low. And we need to steal a possession. Maybe on special teams. Maybe special teams or defense got to steal a possession, because the Eagles could put up points in bunches, and we want to be able to keep up. And if we're close in the fourth quarter, who knows what can happen? The game can swing either way, but we have to keep it close. And keeping the game manageable will help us reach that goal. And it looks like Byron's trying to come back.
There we go. I'm back.
There you go.
I'm back. But they're wearing the white, like you said, Crevonte, by the way, for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because usually it's a color. It uses white and then it's color. Okay,
Yeah,
that
should
sounds good.
be coming up right here, this photo. And there you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they'll be doing the white with the green. Crevonte, I know you did offense, defense. Did you touch on special teams? You know, we got to always touch on special teams here on the preview and post games when we talk about it as well.
I was saying we need to steal a possession and probably still in possession on maybe special teams or getting a score on special teams. We need a spark somewhere when you're the underdogs. You need a spark. You need to find a spark somewhere, and hopefully special teams could be that spark for us. A kicking game is very scary, very very scary for us, and I'm just hoping we'll be able to to manage it and keep up. Hopefully, we won't have to kick too often, but as far as field goals are concerned, but they're always concerning, always concerning.
Well, Crevonte, let's get your prediction for the game. How do you see it playing out? If you have a score, how do you see this game flow kind of working out tomorrow at 1 p.m.?
Whew. Unfortunately, I would love for the Commanders to win, but I don't think they will. The Eagles they look like they hit a stride, and they're looking really 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 good right now. We struggled against a Saints team that shuffled quarterbacks. I'm not fully confident going into this week, but maybe a 27-23 Eagles victory. Trying to keep it one possession, but with that, they would cover a spread of 3.5. But yeah, I'm thinking of 27-23 Eagles. Eagles edge, maybe make one more play than the Commanders, and take the W.
Can you hear me, Crevonte? Okay, cool. How do you feel about the home field advantage this season? I know it's going to be a lot of Eagles fans, though, Crevonte. Always fun.
Eagles fans travel well, especially in the area, because we're not that far. It's a couple hours, if that, depending on how you drive. How we get down, especially with Dre. It's a couple hours max from Philadelphia, so the Eagles have no issues traveling to take over Northwest Stadium. But I don't think it's going to be the same as in recent years where the Eagles completely take over. They'll be in attendance, but home field looks legit like home field for the Commanders, which is a good thing. Now we're not wearing the black jerseys, but they do fans still do come out in bunches, and they're playing well. So I'm expecting maybe a 70-30 you know what I'm saying, percent, because there's also a lot of Eagles fans that live in the DMV area as well. So
Legend of the
it'll be
game,
something to
Mark
look forward to.
Ripien.
What'd you say?
Legend of the game, Mark Ripien. Mark Ripien, legend of the game. You down with that?
Indeed, absolutely. It's still amazing that we have 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks, and he's one of them.
Well, Crevonte, let's look at the games today real quick in the NFL. Then we can get to the Ohio State real quick. Earlier on today, let's go to the NFL. Let's get the scores. We had the Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Houston Texans 27-19. Tank Dell goes down with a dislocated kneecap, still in a Kansas City hospital. Patty Mahomes, we thought his ankle was bad. We thought he was going to be banged up. And the brother ends up still coming out running for 15-yard touchdown. Like nothing happened and they went 27-19.
I didn't think he was going to play. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't think he was going to play because maybe, maybe they just like dramatics. Because remember in the Super Bowl a couple years ago when they played the Eagles, and he was hurt going into halftime, and then he come out with the heroics. I don't know, man. And he played, and it looked like nothing was wrong. It's the craziest thing. Um, Pretty much, if Patrick Mahomes plays, they got an outstanding chance to win, and they did again. So Patrick Mahomes plays, Chiefs win 9 times out of 10.
Ravens defeat the Steelers 34-17.
Good win, much needed win. Good win, much needed win, and that now the Ravens should be leading the division now, right? Or at least tied for it.
Yeah, it's basically tied. But if they win out, they'll get it.
Okay, got it. Yeah, much
And don't
needed win
the
because
Steelers hold the Chiefs on Christmas night, on Christmas Day, before the Ravens and the Texans.
yes. So if the Steelers, ooh, that's gonna be a maybe that probably end up being an ugly game. But I think I'll take the Chiefs when they do play on Christmas, and the Ravens should beat the Texans on Christmas.
Chargers beat the Broncos 34-27. I mean, I guess for wild card seeding, I guess.
You know what? I picked the Broncos, and they were up. They were up in this game, and the Chargers had to make a comeback. Usually the Chargers would charge her, but they didn't. So, I think you picked the Chargers, right?
I did.
Good one. Yeah, but
But I also picked the Texans. So there you go. And I'm picking the Commanders tomorrow, by the way. I'm picking the Commanders tomorrow. I'm picking the Commanders. I'm going to go with the Commanders tomorrow. A last second Zane Gonzalez field goal, Crevonte. I'm going with the field goal.
whew,
Game winner.
listen, I'm here for it. I love to see it.
Any games you look forward to outside of this on week 16? We got Michael Penix making his debut against the Giants.
There
We got
it
the
is.
Lions and Bears, Browns, Bengals, Titans, Colts, Rams, Jets, Eagles, Commanders, Cardinals, Panthers, Vikings, Seahawks, Patriots, Bills, Jaguars, Raiders, 49ers, Dolphins, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Saints, Packers on Monday. But that Michael Penix start, I think, is the big thing I'm looking for,
That's the
especially
one.
early on.
Me too. And he's starting at home. It's a home game too. So and this is he playing against the Giants. This is not a top-notch team, so he can this is definitely a get your feet wet game. Well, shoot, probably get at least half your body wet game. You know what I'm saying? So he gets to experience the crowd, the Atlanta crowd, and really maybe kickstart the new era for the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm excited. I'm excited for not for the game per se, but just to see him.
Well, Gravante, you want to get to this college football playoff talk real quick before we get out of here? Because ain't no need to keep the people waiting too much longer. Let's go
Let's
back
do
to yesterday, though, because we did have the first game yesterday. We had
the massacre.
well, yeah, we had. I mean, it's just showing that these teams, some of these teams, I don't know, do they even belong in the actual tournament, Cavante? Last night, 27-17, Notre Dame over Indiana. It probably wasn't even that close. Indiana, a couple early turnovers, and they let like a 98-yard rushing touchdown. Notre Dame goes on to face Georgia.
Yep, sounds about right. But we had to figure. We know we kind of saw this coming. Like in the first rounds, that's when we got a lower seed playing a higher seed. These things kind of happen, and we're still trying to figure this whole thing out. So I think it's going to work itself out as we improve on the playoffs. But I'm not surprised at the blowouts. There is a gap in gameplay and a gap in talent.
Yeah, we're not sure about Carson Beck's injury status, Cavante, but two of the best defenses in the college football landscape, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, the brother getting it done, and Georgia, Kirby Smart, coming from a Nick Saban tree. They want to run the football, play good defense. This will be a under type of game, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably gonna be an under game, unless they go into overtime or something like that. But yeah, two really good defenses. Two really good defenses are probably the best that we have left in the matchups, defensive wise, and yeah, I don't think too many points are going to be scored in that game.
Let's get to today's action. Penn State blew out SMU 38-10. I think it was like 28-0, 35-0 at halftime. I mean, they were just whooping them from the word go. SMU, some costly turnovers. I think the quarterback threw 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, it's hey, welcome to this new thing where we're trying, and you pulled a wild card. So unfortunately, SMU got some more of a spotlight, but they had to get beat down because Penn State wasn't playing no games.
And earlier today, Clemson falls to Texas 38-24. Really wasn't even probably that close, but Texas advances to Arizona State, Crevonte. So we'll see how good Arizona State really is facing Texas, a team who was 1-2 most of the year.
Absolutely. So Clemson, Clemson was competitive for the year. It's good to see them back in some type of postseason fashion because we thought they fell off after the whole Trevor Lawrence thing. After Trevor Lawrence left. So it's good to see them back, but Texas is on a different level. So a 2-score victory sounds about right. Now Arizona State, we're going to see how good Arizona State is and see if hopefully we don't see a blowout because they might revamp this, but we got to give it some time because they are 4 seed, but Texas, Arizona State, we shall see. We shall see. I'm giving Texas. I think I'm gonna take Texas in that one.
Real quick before we get to Ohio State, how do you feel about Penn State and Boise State? We know Ashton Jeanty, the all-world running back, All-American, going against Penn State. They have a pretty solid defense. You think Boise State's for real too? We'll see how good they are too, I guess, right?
I think yes, that Arizona State and Boise State, I think, are in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? Like how much is these championships really worth? You know what I'm saying? But this is their opportunity to make their stamp because if they get blown out, they're gonna look at them like, see, we already knew. And also you could probably say this is probably why Jeanty didn't win the Heisman Trophy either. Now, granted, Travis Hunter is a unicorn, but Jeanty had an amazing year. But also, you got to look at the conference. You know what I'm saying? So, this is the opportunity for Jeanty to show off and Boise State as a whole to make their stamp on the college football world.
And in the horseshoe in Columbus, oh, it's Hammer time in Ohio. Hammer with a special Christmas performance. He's dressed up in his Santa costume, Crevonte, and he's hitting that thing in midfield in a big O.
That's right. It wasn't much to talk about. Yep. There it is. That's the one.
Finish him, Daddy. Finish him, Daddy. Finish him, Daddy.
Finger licking good special. That's what I'm talking about.
Y'all might put up 50, Crevonte. Blowout of the week.
I turned the game off when it was time for us to start, but I think it was 28-10 when we got on. But it wasn't much of a contest. And again, Tennessee had a great year. Tennessee had a really, really good year, but Ohio State needed to do this because they look kind of crippled coming into the playoffs, losing to Michigan, So, like I said, Tennessee had a great year, but Ohio State they got to put their foot down. You know what I'm saying? Because they're still one of the best teams in the country, and they have to prove it. Ryan Day, championship or bust. That's where we at with it. And we got the biggest draw next week. Next time we play.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Devontae, how do you feel about that Oregon matchup? I mean, do you think they should be playing Oregon soon, or it's like, hey, it's inevitable. Give the people what they want. Give us the rematch since we didn't get in the Big Ten championship.
Ah, man. I think it's gonna happen anyway. I don't think when it happened doesn't really matter too much. Is that it was going to happen. If you put them on the same side of the bracket, chances are that they were going to run into each other. And I think this is good momentum for Ohio State to get things going and get things right. So Oregon get some rest. Hopefully it turns into rust for Ohio State's sake, but knowing Oregon, they're probably going to be ready, and it's going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Ohio State. And even when we do the flex zone, I'm gonna hold on to the Ohio State pick.
And it will be in the Rose Bowl again, Crevonte, a history that the Ohio State knows very well. Remember that great Jackson Smith and Jigba game? Some classic Rose Bowl games involving the Ohio State Buckeyes.
We need another one. We need one more. Defense got to show up.
Appreciate that, Alex. One of our minds, our boy Alex, always in the streams. Always appreciate you, man. I had to mod you up, my guy. Appreciate you always being here. Showing us love, Alex. Big ups to you and happy holidays to you and yours. And we'll actually be live on Christmas, so you don't have to worry about too much. We'll be here with the Ravens post game. So working on the holidays, Crevonte, but yeah, it'll be fun to see. Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day, 5 p.m. Texas Arizona State will be 1 p.m. There's the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We know you love that Chick-fil-A Peach, Crevonte. And then we have the Boise State Penn State game on the 31st. So this is your New Year's, Crevonte, 7:30. And then Notre Dame, Georgia, ending whatever will be the night game on New Year's Day. So nice slate, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day for bowl games.
Cool, let's do it. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So it seems like that big old gap between them playing is kind of, it's not as big, I don't think.
I guess it's kind of normal, you know what I mean? Like they would normally play this time, I guess, for them. The other teams are just playing an extra game before then, I guess.
I think it'll work out better. I think it works out better this way.
And it'll be intriguing to see the rust versus rest situation. How do teams come out? How do these underdog teams come out as the prohibited quote-unquote favorite by seeding, but maybe not by spread? Maybe how the spreads line up. Oregon, Ohio State, how does that come into play? I think that's going to be 3 points max. So we'll see.
Listen, Arizona State and Boise State, this is y'all chance. You don't necessarily have to win, but you got to compete. Don't get blown out.
Yeah, definitely. Crevonte, let the people know what they need to do if they are watching us right now. What do we do on this channel? What do we do for the Commanders? We do Ravens. We do all types of sports as well. And tomorrow, looks like we'll be able to go live right after the game, right after the final whistle at the end of the fourth quarter. We'll be able to go into another post-game show, Week 16, Crevonte. Can you believe that we're making it this far through Week 16?
We do this every year, and it seems like it goes faster. It goes faster each year. But the Flex Zone Podcast on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications, because we have a lot of content on the channel and more content coming to the channel. We do pre-games, post-games for the Commanders, Ravens. We do wrestling. We got AEW pretty much every Wednesday. Live streams left and right. Oh my, we have something just about every day, and we do breaking news every now and then as well. So this is the place you want to be. The Flex Zone Podcast, giving you sports how you want it, when you need it.
Appreciate it, Crevonte. Always a pleasure. We'll be live tomorrow, immediately following the Washington Commanders in Philadelphia. We'll be the official Washington Commanders post-game show. Dynamic duo doing it again. And Crevonte, I didn't mention this. We actually have primetime football for Week 17 for the Washington Commanders as the Philadelphia Eagles game will now be in primetime. Quickly, what are your thoughts on that? As we'll have a late primetime post-game show next week, Week 17. Playoff implications, you're going to see Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I thought about, is that Michael Penix, I hope he looks like a rookie. that'll be the game where he shows out and it's in front of the world. I hope we can make him look like a rookie. That's what I hope. But you see we're getting a little bit more TV time. That we're being flexed to primetime games. They really want to see the Commanders play. They want to see Jaden Daniels play. So I'm really, really excited about it. And there will be some playoff implications. So that's also exciting. Just adds another layer of excitement, to it. And last but not least, happy birthday to my quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He actually just turned 24. His birthday was the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a couple days ago.
Yes, happy birthday to Jaden Daniels. He came getting it done for the Washington Commanders, giving them hope, giving them the quarterback that they need. Crevonte will do this tomorrow after the Commanders and Eagles, hopefully with a healthy recap. Good, the bad, the ugly, what went right, what went wrong, get keys to the game, injury report, and looking ahead to that one-time matchup on Week 17. Ohio State up. They look like they're going to win. Face Oregon. Next round will be talking about on Flex Zone episode 471 on Monday. With Crevonte, God's favorite host, signing off. Check out the Ravens postgame show we did for it. And we'll be live to watch the Commanders postgame show. Commanders Eagles in a huge matchup tomorrow afternoon in Northwest. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.